In a world full of noise, two giants decide to speak. Devin Dubuque, 6'4", John Hinks Jr., 6'8". Standing tall, thinking bigger. Real stories, real strategies. No fluff, no filter. From the trenches to the top, this is where mortgage pros come to grow. Because when giants talk, you listen. Oh, let's go.
Coolest band ever, dude.
Yeah, we'll have to go see a show sometime, man. We've been talking about it, so.
I know, man. I got lots of shows this summer. I've been just buying tickets like a madman, like a drunken sailor. It's just crazy. Going to go see.
Sailors go to concerts? I guess I didn't know.
Well, yeah, with their hats.
And tattoos. Hats and tats.
You know, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great, man. Well, hey, it's always gonna be great when I get to spend a little bit of time wrapping it up with you, brother. I'm kind of excited for today's episode because we're going to talk about the mortgage strategy nobody teaches you, but more importantly, we literally just kind of discussed this topic briefly in the green room, and I want to see if we actually align on this. Right?
Uh-oh.
This could turn into something juicy, right?
Yeah, I could leave this whole thing saying I've been doing this shit wrong for a long time after I talked to you.
I don't think you have been. I've seen your results. I've seen your results.
I appreciate it.
You're doing something pretty epic, man. Something pretty
epic.
I
am excited about this. This is kind of off the cuff a little bit. This is kind of off the normal stuff that everybody seems to be talking about. So I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. Well, you know, we talk about branding all the time, and I think that is an important part of the business. But the question is, when does that become the most important part of the business? And that kind of goes back to what our discussion is today, which is if I'm a brand spanking new loan officer, I just got my shiny new license, and I'm getting into the industry, what is it that I should be focused on right out of the starting gate that's going to set me up for a career full of success?
Yeah. Man.
So what do you think, John? What do you think that is? What your day number one? I know you're, as a veteran loan officer, what you do, because we've talked about that, right? You go find your crowd and you start, building the relationships there. But we're talking about you're just getting new to this industry and you don't know anything about mortgage. Where do you go?
I go to my dad. That's what I did. So I went to my dad. Big old red in the corner of the office, smoking cigarettes, the whole freaking office full of cigarette smoke and everything else like that. I had a mentor. I was lucky enough to have a mentor. A mentor that wanted to invest in me and see me succeed, which was my dad. And to be honest with you, I think that is, I counted the number of things that can go wrong in a mortgage application or a mortgage process. And I think it's like 187 different things or something like that. Or
I think it could be more.
I think it's probably more. I did that butterfly map thing. You ever done that before? And I ran out of paper. Ran out of paper. Butterfly maps, the yes, no. If it's yes, go here. If it's no, it's a hard stop. If it's a no, or this way. But a mentor is my answer to that. If I'm a brand new loan officer, am I plugged into a system that has a mentor or a couple of mentors that are willing to block out a certain amount of time in their week to teach me to be successful?
So for that one, John, I think you and I are 100% in alignment. Okay. I go back in this industry to, when did I start? 2002, right? So about 24 years in. And I remember, when I first got in, we had some people that were, the mentors, but they were also actively producing and very difficult to get in front of. And literally, I remember trying to figure out the business, understand what I was doing. And at the time I was in a call center. And so I'm taking these leads. They're like, just take more leads. Just take more leads. I'm like, what do I do with these? Right. When I get them put together, and you have this one guy that you got to sit with for 30 minutes a day. And you'd have at the time, because this is 2002, we were in a mortgage, a year where the rates were low. What do you call it? Spike, right? And so effectively I'd have 15 applications, right? I'm like, okay, can we get through these 15 in 30 minutes? No, but let's go bad, good, bad, good, bad, good. Okay, what does that mean, right? So,
Right.
there was no real mentorship at that point in time, and I was able to stumble my way through. My mentor, John, for me, it wasn't my dad. I didn't have a dad that was in the industry. I had a processor, and I remember exactly how it went down for me. As I brought her this terrible file that had nothing in it, and she looks me in the eyes, and she's like, "Get this shit out of here."
Yep.
Don't come back to my desk with something like this. And I said, well, what do you mean? And I said, let's just do this. I'm gonna call her out. Her name was Nancy. And I said, Nancy, let me tell you this. I'm new to this industry. I'm young. I'm hungry. I want to do whatever it takes. I will learn. I will literally, you tell me one time, this is what I do. I'm going to do it, hands down. And I said, I don't care if other people tell you that they're not going to do it because, that's your job. Doesn't matter. I don't care about that, because she was telling me that they expect her to do this. She was giving me an earful, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, no, you tell me what you want me to do, and I will do it that way 100% of the time, because I want to be great at this job. Right. And that was my mentor. So I completely agree with you. I think you've got to align with somebody who can mentor you. But what does that look like? Right. Do you give a piece of your comp? Do you come in as an assistant? Like what would your line of thought on that be?
Well, I can tell you what we have in place now is we have in our little branch right now, we have some new loan officers that, there's different levels, like little tiddly bit things. Like, when you go up, they have a mentor, like a team lead kind of loan, and it's usually a loan officer. And if it goes past that, it'll go to either me or Heath as a branch manager. And we should be able to answer all the questions and so forth. So we're lucky enough at Lending Path to have that kind of layered. Yeah. Yeah, if for anybody else that's in it, usually it should be a branch manager. But I like the idea of a processor, because usually they're the smarter people in the room anyway. So, but yeah, branch manager is super important. That's probably the most important. And I've seen make or break branch managers, man. So there's two different types of managers. There's an override manager and a branch manager, and it's two totally different things.
That's right.
So, and I'm a producing branch manager, so I'm all up in the weeds. So I still keep my mind somewhat sharp with the 1 million things that can go on a loan application. But I think a branch manager is really, really, really important.
So let's talk a little bit about this. So what do you think is more important to learn in your first, let's just go 6 months, right? Maybe 3. Let's go 3 months, first 3 months. Mm-hmm. More important to learn how to market, or more important to learn how to structure?
Well, I think it's important for us to figure out where we're plugged into.
Yeah.
Because you can get it. I know some of the best marketing loan officers out there, and I also know that they're also the worst loan officers out there. And you can tell they're the worst loan officers because like their numbers will show one-offs with all the people that they've worked with, because like they try it and it doesn't work or whatever. It's just not a good process.
Yeah.
I think marketing, I think you got to eat. So for me right now, I think you have to go and milk the cow before you start building that barn around you. So I think you got to go market, and I think you got to get loans in the door so you can learn what works and what doesn't work. So my advice to new loan officers has always been, when they're plugged into us, I want you to go get deals referred to you, and let's teach them together. Let's work on them together, and let's go like why this one works here, why it doesn't work here. And so for me, that answer is marketing is more important for me. What about you?
We're not in alignment on this one.
Right? Okay.
And the reason that I say that is because I don't want to fail for a consumer by providing terrible service because I don't understand my role.
But what if you're plugged into a good team?
And that would be the one caveat to that, right? So if I have a structured team that's going to say, hey, look, we're going to lend you a hand, we're going to show you the way, and we're going to build this file with you and show you how we're going to do it, and we have that put together, then I'm totally good with that, right? But my personal opinion, especially for somebody that's starting new in the industry, I almost feel like they need to come in as an LOA, right? Somebody who's an assistant.
Oh, you pivoted on me on that one. I see what you're doing there. It's sneaky. I underestimated your sneakiness.
Well, here's the way that a lot of people look at it. They look at, hey, you can make a lot of money in this industry, and one loan could change my life, and That's all true, right? That's all true. But at the same time, I feel like if you're going to get really good at the business, learning it from the ground floor up is the best way to be introduced. And if you've got a great loan officer or loan officer team that is already bringing in business, right, and they need help with getting those prepared, and they need somebody that can help structure and chase docs and learn that business from the inside out, I feel like that apprenticeship is a great way to really introduce yourself in the business, because not only are you at that point in time seeing how to structure, why it's important to follow up, why it's important to track down documents, what we're looking at when we're looking at income documents, how we're getting these clients qualified, but you're also seeing a very well-structured loan officer who's already out there hunting and killing, doing the marketing aspect of it. So you get to see it from the ground floor. So that's where I think we differ a little bit in this one, is that I do believe that instead of just throwing, the person out there to the wolves and saying, hey, sink or swim, I think it's a great idea to bring them on as an assistant and teach them, more as an apprenticeship. That's my personal opinion.
But I mean, I think, I think you have a good, I didn't know you were going to say that. So yeah, that's actually really good though. But, I think you're right. I mean, if you can find them a home as an LOA, I mean, I guess it depends on the comp structure.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, in my world, the number of responsibilities you and I share with what we do together on an everyday basis, I would love to have an LOA come in and just run my stuff. I could teach them. But man, I did that, Devin. It takes a long time to teach someone. And I guess my fear is always going to be they learn and then they leave. And that's always been my fear, but I mean, it happens. I mean, it's happened to me for 20 something years, sure. But I'm proud to say most people that leave go and they step up, they're not doing something lateral.
I've seen that. Yeah. I've certainly seen that happen, right? I've seen it happen where you bring somebody in and you give them, a salary, and you teach them from the ground floor up, and eventually they get to that point. But typically where I see that they go another direction altogether, is when maybe you hold them back from the opportunity longer than they're wanting to be held back, right?
Yeah, I'm lucky. The loan partners or loan officer assistants that we have, they love doing what they're doing. But I have actually like gently nudged them to jump off and, tried to like, is this something you want to do full time, like full on 100% commission? But they just love what they're doing right now. So there's that. But I think the opportunity to bring someone in as a junior loan officer, maybe, and their commission, but I'm sharing my commission because they're running that part of it. And then I slowly wean them off of me, and then they are working for me. I would like to try that. I haven't done that before.
Now we're talking. And that's the strategy I'm referring to, right? Is where effectively you're bringing them in to show them the ropes. You're giving them the opportunity to learn from the ground floor up, and potentially sharing a slight percentage of commission. But the way I share commission on that, John, may be a little bit different than you think, because we do still want them to learn how to hunt, right? So we do still want them to spend a portion of their time doing some marketing to bring in some business, right? So why don't we share commission on the business that they bring in while we're transitioning them and teaching them the industry from the ground floor up? And the reason I say that is because I've seen a lot of new people come into this industry recently who don't understand the mechanics of how to put a loan together. And I've heard a lot of theory on this, which I've seen. Hey, you don't have to know. You can hire another team to do that, right? But in all reality, John, to me, that's a BDR. It's a BDR. If you're just going out and you're hunting and you've got to rely on somebody else to put it all together, and you don't really understand that, are you giving the best service to the people that you're doing business with if you don't really understand the process from the ground floor up? But I also come from an old school thought, right? I'm 24 years into this industry. And when I grew into this industry, we had to know how to do everything. You had to know how to put loans together. You had to know, how to process the files. You had to know how to market yourself. You had to do it all, right? And I think for me, the reason that I feel it's important to learn those things, not that you have to do it forever, but I feel like if you understand every single aspect of it, once you get to the point where you deserve to start hiring a team, you understand the structure of that team on a level that most people don't, because you know who's cooking the fries and how long to cook the fries, right? You know what that process looks like. You've set forth your non-negotiables. And so that's why my personal opinion is you've got to learn the back end side and understand it really, really, really well to bring great value to the clients that you serve.
So I'm doing, I mean, I don't, maybe I'm just spoiled. I mean, because my loan officers, my loan partners are very talented. We have like 4 of them. I have 3 very good processors, and I've had them for so long that I take it for granted, because when we have a new loan officer come in, we've had some great success with people that are brand new in the business and they can come right on in. But the way we are structured is probably very unique to the rest of the industry and how they're structured, because we've had newer loan officers that were new with another company, and then they come in and then they're completely wowed by the support that they get.
Yeah.
But are they getting enough experience because they're still out there prospecting? And I think there's a little bit to the whole, like, your philosophy too, is the better I'm at it, the more confident I am to go out and get it. Yeah. So like because like a lot of times, like you're almost kind of like, you meet a realtor, I'm like, oh, just fake it till you make it. Like,
that was what we learned.
There's nothing wrong with saying, I'll go find you the answer. So if you don't know what FHA stands for, just tell them, give them a day and just go from there. But I do, like, I do feel like, you got to have something to work on. So I guess you're asked, your philosophy, I can see how that part of it would work, but that's so, no, there's really no, like, when we get licensed in this business, that none of that stuff has anything to do with how to structure loans or why you go this way, why you go this way. Like, there's never a question that says
how to run DU, how to run LP, how to know if
right.
a USDA loan is.
And it's not just that, like, why send someone to FHA compared to conventional?
Mm-hmm.
I have like this really badass class that I teach real estate agents, and it's called Behind the Scenes. And I always go through the whole thing about, like, here's why a loan officer is going to pick conventional over FHA, or why this borrower is better for FHA. And there's loan officers out there that don't even know how to do that shit. And I've got agents that I'm training that know how to do it better. So it's kind of one of those, like, we're not teaching the newbies the truth. We are, but a lot of us are not, because I know there's some loan officers out there where I just scratch my head, like, how are you still around?
Yeah. Well, I want to go back and say, and I'm not saying that I disagree with your process as well. And the reason I say this, because I've seen your process and I've seen the teams that you have and the level of support that you're providing your loan officers that you're bringing in that mentorship program that you guys do provide. So I think your way works, John. I think it is a smart way to do business. I just challenge today loan officers who think that they don't need to know the process, that they just need to go out and bring in the business.
So I had a loan officer, very proud to call a friend. He used to work with us for a long time, but he decided to go and open his own thing, and he took the next step up. Okay, he took the next step. His name's Tom. He's based out of Greenville, and that cat knows guidelines.
Oh, he does. I know
he is a mortgage guru. Yeah. His entire marketing is based on the fact that everybody in Greenville knows he can structure a file, and he knows how to get files to the finish line. And he specializes in all the different types of loans.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't say, like, you don't say, like, Tom's good at this. You say Tom is good at everything. And he's a student of the business. He's constantly learning. He's constantly trying to get better. And so when he made the move to go open his own thing and do his own thing, I immediately knew that he was going to probably take off, because he was going to learn how to run his own business on top of how he did it. But his attraction, the reason why he's so successful, is because everybody knows he's just a badass, bona fide, really good loan officer.
That's it.
And there's truth to that matter. And some of the people in my area I highly respect are just bona fide, badass loan officers. They know their stuff. And so I couldn't agree with you more that we do concentrate so much on getting out there that we forget to hone in our craft.
Basic. Yeah. The basic, what we should know, because here's the way that I look at it, John. We're in an industry that we have the ability to make income that's in some cases greater than athletes, greater than attorneys, and greater than doctors, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to look at, especially when we're talking about attorneys and doctors, the amount of school that they have to take to be put in a position to where they're trusted to do their role, and more importantly, make the astronomical amount of money that they make, right? So if we as originators have that potential, why are we not holding ourselves accountable to understanding our craft on the same level as a doctor attorney? Because the way that I think, if you want to be a amazing loan officer in this industry, you should be the doctor of loans, right? You should have your doctorate in loans, which means that you understand FHA, USDA, VA, conventional. You know the guidelines almost to heart. You can almost spout exactly what they say when you rattle it off. And when you have a team that you're building and your team is building out the structure of the way that the system works, they look at you as that's the expert. That's the guy that I go to. I'm going to do all the work. But if I don't know something, John's going to know, right? If I don't know something, he's going to know how to get this done. And now all of a sudden that translates to the consumers that you're providing assistance to. It translates to the agents that you're providing assistance to. And when you set yourself on the tone of, we don't do things half-assed here, right? We go whole ass on everything that we do, right?
All of it. Full moon.
Full ass. We're full ass on every transaction, because we're not going to slip up and make a mistake that's going to cost you from buying a home, right? Then now all of a sudden you deserve the income level that this industry has to bring. And I think that's why you see such a small percentage of loan officers hitting those major marks, right? You know, there's literally, it's like 10% of the industry is just crushing it. And then there's this giant gap in the middle that is struggling for the scraps, right? And why is that? Well, typically it's a combination of two things. It's either you don't know your craft or you don't know how to hunt. So I'm not saying you don't need to know how to hunt. You've got to know how to market yourself, because if you don't know how to do that, all the other stuff sucks. Because we've also, John, we've seen the latter. We've seen the loan officer that knows all the stuff, understands how to put it together, knows their files inside and out, but they don't know how to market themselves, and they get stuck with that as well. So for me to be a well-rounded loan officer, you have to do both, but you got to start with the basics. And that's my personal belief.
Well, the common denominator, I mean, the bottom line is this: news spreads faster that you're a shitty loan officer than it does if you're a good loan officer. Because all the agents will talk about it. Big John dropped the ball, and everybody will know about it. I actually have a funny story if you want to hear it.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so here's how I saved my ass. It was COVID, and I just had a baby in March 2000. That was it. And no, 2020.
Men are having babies now?
2020. Say what now?
Men are having babies now.
Yes. Well, my wife had the baby, so there you go. So, and it was March 23rd is when COVID kind of blew up. March 26th was when Eleanor was born. And after that, I don't know if you remember, all the banks started shutting down, all the investors. So we're not going to fund this. We're not going to fund that. So it was chaos, right? And I had a pretty decent sized branch. We had like 23, 24 loan officers, and fire. I had a personal loan where the borrower, I just totally missed it. I totally missed it. $4,000 in income, but it was from two separate jobs. But I thought it was from one job because it said $4,000 a month. I didn't know it was 2 and 2. I thought it was just 4, and we weren't giving credit to the second job because there was less than 2 years. So get verification of employment comes in. This poor lady was going through a ugly divorce. It was COVID, no housing necessary out there, none of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I dropped the ball big time. And what happened was she was homeless. She sold her house. She's about to buy the next house. And I couldn't qualify her, right? I couldn't qualify her for another 6 months because that second job was 1.5 years. So I had to buy the damn house.
Oh, wow.
So I did. I bought the house, rented it back to her and stuff like that. So I saved my ass, because what happened was the agents at the time were really cool, but the listing agent was not cool. Yeah. And listing agent just started chattering and like all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, hey, look, I'm going to fix it. But like, there was no chitter chattering about how great we were with all the other stuff. There's chitter chattering, but we dropped the ball. So if you're out there, I can tell you right now, I hear more news about loan officers being a terrible loan officer than I hear news about loan officers being a great loan officer.
That's it.
And that's just, you got to work that craft. You got to find them guidelines. Do you open up Fannie Mae guidelines and do you like just read for the hell of it?
I can't say I'm like Tom and I just pull them up and read them. For me personally, I typically am finding myself in the Fannie guidelines when I've got a specific situation. But I will tell you 100%, I'm going to play inspector and I'm going to read every single part of that to make sure that I understand it. And more importantly, I think this is a place that a lot of people get lost on too. The guidelines aren't as black and white as you think, right? You could read it one way and somebody else could interpret it a completely different way, right?
Yep.
So you really have to make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And more importantly, there may be a section of the guidelines that say this, but then you have to go to that other section that actually contradicts a little bit to what it's telling you to make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And so I think this is something, you talk about a good attorney who can spout law off the top of their head. That's why having a great loan officer in your corner is really important. And that's, to me, why when you're building your brand, right? Big part of that brand needs to start with understanding the craft, and part of that is literally taking the time to learn the business from the ground floor up, understanding all the important information, right? That we've got to know, because we're having people hand us over their livelihood in the biggest purchase that most will make, right? This is their home. And what does that experience look like for them? Is it an enjoyable experience that they go from start to finish with confidence that they're working with the right person? And if you're out there right now and you're listening and you go, I haven't had confidence in the last 3 people I'm working with, I'm going to tell you this much, right? You're working with the wrong person. Okay. You're working with the wrong person. There is a difference between working with the right person and the wrong person. The wrong person is going to leave you with those type of feelings, right? The right person is going to leave you with the confidence that, you know what? I want to go on this ride again. Next time I'm buying a house, I'm coming back to Big John because I know he's going to take good care of me. Right.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, my half my business is my database because I did a good job for him in the first place. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a cool topic, Devin, because, we did get lazy during COVID and we haven't really, but I mean, I think now a lot of the files, like I'm just kind of, you're learning some guidelines now because there's got to be a way to make this work, Go back down that butterfly map. Oh, it says no here, but let's go back to the yes and let's find the other path.
That's it.
That's it. But yeah,
maybe we're just looking at the wrong program. Maybe there's another way to calculate this income that we're not considering, right? Maybe there's a non-QM program out there that I can consider, right? And that's the thing, is that the loan officer that wants to win in this industry, in their free time, when they're bored, John, they are picking up guideline books. I think the reason that I don't pick up guideline books unless something very new is coming out and I know I need to get familiar with it is because I have been picking up guideline books for 24 years and reading them, for quite some time. I literally was I ran multiple branches, but I was the guy that literally they came to when they couldn't figure out a problem. They'd call me in like, Devin, we got a problem. Can you fix this? And literally it was typically 30 minutes later, and we'd have a sellable loan, maybe not structured the way they had originally anticipated, right? But it was structured in a way that worked for the consumer, did what they were trying to accomplish, and sometimes saved the day. Like sometimes literally took somebody who was scratching their head going, man, I don't think we can get this client into a home, and turning him into a homeowner, right? And that's why I think it's so important to understand. So I do think there's 2 schools of camp on this. I do agree with you, John. If you've got a great team like John's that brings you under their wing, shows you the way, and helps build you up, then that's a great way to start. But if you're finding yourself in a position where you want to get into this industry and you don't have the luxury because you haven't met John or myself, right, and have somebody that's going to take the time to do that, mother hen, right, like show me the way. I think that, coming in as more of a role inside of the office and learning the business from the ground floor up and being a part of that and maybe sharing a percentage of your commission with a loan officer that has the history and has the understanding that's going to help you along the way. That's my personal opinion, is you could still market that way. You could still go after your database. You could still share a percentage of your commission, but work on their team, right? Don't be too proud to start at the bottom, because when you start at the bottom, you get to learn every role. Every branch I've ever worked, John, or built, John, and I think you're the same way. I've processed loans. I've set up loans. I've been the loan officer, right? I've done the back end, getting it prepped for closing, getting it funded, right? And I didn't fund it personally, but, getting it, to where it was ready for and prepared for funding, run the marketing side of the business. And I've done that because I wanted to know, as I filled in new people for those roles, what their job looked like so I could have an understanding when we sat down in a meeting and they said, Devin, it can't be done. Oh, the hell it can't. Mm-hmm. We've done this before, and this is how it's going to get done, right? And that's how you can identify the right person for the role.
Yep. You and I have both been in the business long enough that happens on a monthly basis. It's like, oh, yes, you can. Yeah. And I'll tell you how. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, that's really cool, though. I like the topic, though, because, I don't know, we got to wrap it up, but, it makes me want to start a university.
You know? It's not a terrible idea because it really, and John, you know what? I'm gonna back you up a little bit. In fact, I'm gonna even plug you, right? So I'm gonna drop this on here. Do I have it? Yep, here we go. You said it, and honestly, this wasn't planned. It's just just said it. I want to start a university. You kind of have. You kind of have, because you've got your cageless events, and I know we've talked about bringing me in on these too, to where we can do these together. And I think we've got some stuff planned for the end of this year where we may just do that. But becageless.com, this is a program that you've put together with another real estate agent, right? Who's also helping agents find their way. That's allowing for people that are newer to the industry or stuck in the industry to make choices to find the right path to great success. And you've done it. I've seen it. I've seen people on your team that came to you through Cageless and eventually said, screw the program, I want to jump on the ride.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. I appreciate the plug. Well, if we do start a university, though, I am going to tell you what the mascot's going to be. It's going to be the Giants.
Let's go, baby. In the Giants we trust.
That's right, bro. That's right. Great topic today, man.
Yeah, killer stuff, man. Well, any closing words, John, from you before we wrap up today?
Man, just let's go.
Let's go. Well, good stuff, guys. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the episode today. And, if you want more information, whatever streaming platform you're on right now, just DM me, DM John. We are more than happy to spend a little bit of time, even if you're with another mortgage company and you want some information, you want some answers, you're stuck and you're looking for, who can help me get back on the right path. That's what John and I are here for. That's why we started the Mortgage Giants podcast. He and I both have a lot of history in this industry, and we want to give back to people that are out there, to an industry that's given us so much. So I think that's it today, man. I'm John Hinks.
You're John Hinks. I'm Devin DeBook.
We're your Mortgage Giants. Until the next time, we will see you then. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.